People who double knot their shoes are going to be like, wow, I didn't realize how hard my life was that I do this.
90% of me was just like, that's
not cool,
That's
man.
not cool. That's like taking it way too far. But then that tiny little 10% of me, I was like, good.
You have a weak bloodline. Drink coffee like a man.
What we're trying to say is conventions are cool, especially tattoo conventions, which is our main topic for today.
So let's get into that.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm Brian, JP. I'm not Brian, JP. I am Brian, JP. All right.
All right.
What are we talking about?
I was gonna say, you took the lead, man. You took the lead on this one, so you gotta lead us into the conversation.
How you doing today, man?
Good.
That's awesome.
Good.
Sweet.
I'm like, I didn't poop enough from drinking coffee this morning because I woke up late, but that's okay.
How much coffee do you drink?
Every morning I drink a pot of coffee.
That's so much, man.
I like coffee. I don't know what to tell you, man.
That's a ridiculous. How much? Okay, so a pot of coffee. That's like, how many cups is that?
12.
12 cups? There's no way.
It says 12 on the pot. Up to 12.
It says 12 cups.
Just says 12. I don't know what.
How much?
I don't
how
know
much
if
caffeine
it means
is
cups. I just know it just says 12. 12 what? I don't know. 12 gallons? Probably not. 12 ounces?
What I'm trying to say is like how much caffeine is in a
pot?
pot? Well, how much caffeine is in a cup of coffee?
I don't know. I mean, I know the bubbly waters have 35 milligrams per can. So
wait a minute. There's caffeine in the bubbly water?
Not the ones that you've been drinking.
Oh.
There are caffeine ones that I have at the shop that I drink. It's like my midday caffeine hit when I know that I still got like 6 or 8 hours left on a tattoo.
Well, see, 35 doesn't seem like a lot. I thought like a cup of coffee is like 80,
bro,
or something like that.
If I was drinking, I mean, first off, maybe I don't know. I have no idea how much caffeine I'm drinking. I just know that I've gone too far when I start shaking, and that's usually when I drink a second pot of coffee.
In the morning?
Sometimes in the afternoon. If I'm off, if it's my day off, and so before I go to work, I've had a pot of coffee. If it's my day off, I probably have 2 cups of coffee by 3 p.m. Two pots of coffee, yeah.
So Google says 1 cup of brewed coffee, 8 ounces, contains about 70 to 140 milligrams of caffeine.
What's the lethal amount of?
The recommended amount is like less than 400 milligrams of caffeine in a day.
So I didn't ask about the recommended. I asked about the lethal amount of caffeine.
Are you treading on some thin ice here?
I'm bringing it up to a limit here. An edge of a cliff is still on solid ground.
An edge of a cliff is still solid ground.
We're getting the answer. And
It's probably like a range of numbers, I'm assuming.
all right, so what's the lethal amount? It's like 5,000 or something.
I don't know, man. It says so. The FDA says you can safely consume about 400 milligrams a day, but then this other thing says the lethal dose is 150 milligrams. That's not right. I have that every morning. This one says 180.
So what I'm hearing is I'm awesome because I can drink like 10 times that much on a daily basis, and I'm good.
So let's on the low end of your coffee, let's say it's 70 milligrams per cup.
Yeah.
And you're drinking 12. So that's over 800 milligrams
Every morning.
in the morning.
Yeah.
Which is twice the recommended amount
Yeah.
in a day. And sometimes you drink 2 pots.
I don't know what to tell you, man. I love coffee.
You can't drink decaf or anything?
I knew you were gonna say that, and no, I can't. So decaf is decaf because they
don't
cook it
roast
so
them?
much. They cook it so much that it roasts the caffeination out of it, so it tastes like bitter mud. I hate decaf, and not.
Do you drink black coffee?
No, I put a little bit of creamer in there.
Why can't you just put more creamer in the bitter
Oh,
coffee?
dude, then it's sweet. Then it's like sweet mud. It's like drinking like a syrupy stout. I'm not doing that.
Oh man, I can't imagine. Like I'll start shaking if I have so the way I wake up in the morning is like I'll have a shot of the 5 Hour Energy and I'll have the extra strength ones, which that already brings me up to almost the limit of the day, which is 400. I think there are like 360 milligrams of caffeine in that one shot, which is crazy. But like it perks me up in about 10 minutes as soon as I have the shot. And then I'm like, okay, I feel I'm alert now. And then I don't crash. So it just eases me back down within like 5, 6, 7 hours or whatever. If I were to have, I used to have 2 of those a day. I tried a second shot like a couple weeks ago and I almost died. Like my hands were shaking and I was just like, but like it didn't raise my alertness.
It just raised your anxiety.
It just heightened everything else. So I'm literally just, I still have no energy, but now I'm just shaking and my anxiety is through the roof and I have heart palpitations.
I've had friends that have done that. Like when nitro coffee became like really big, that was like a thing. Like because it's such a, I don't even know the right word for it, but it's got more caffeine like for whatever reason. And I'd watch my untrained, uninitiated friends to the coffee life like drink like a whole 16-ounce cup of it and they start freaking out. They're like, I gotta go home, dude. I'm freaking out. And I'm like, you're weak. You're weak.
I remember when I was like that.
You have a weak bloodline. Drink coffee like a man.
So Healthline says that it's 10 grams of caffeine. And that means you have to drink about
10,000 milligrams.
I don't know the math there, but it's about 30 energy drinks. So
you're good.
I'm good. I'm actually real good. I could probably fit a third pot of coffee.
We won't though, right? Now that you know that
I'm all by myself tomorrow. Maddie's working, you're working. I got nobody to hang out with.
Jesus.
I just sit there and draw on my iPad for 10 hours and drink 3 pots of coffee. It wouldn't surprise me. I've gone
insane to me.
I've gone on things where I won't sleep for like 2 days straight because I'll get like a spurt of inspiration at like 9 p.m. I'll be like, oh fuck, I gotta draw this, but I'm kind of tired, so I'll just go make another pot of coffee and then stay up till 6 a.m. drawing, drinking coffee.
That's absolutely insane to me. That's freaking. That's not the only time I ever like stay up is if I'm like I'm playing video games or if I'm like out somewhere. And I usually only go out with like other like artist friends.
Yeah.
Usually like the people that we meet at like conventions. Like when we're at conventions, it's usually kind of.
We don't even tattoo when we're at conventions.
Yeah, we kind of just drink for 4 days straight.
Not so much anymore. We've learned.
Not anymore. This past Hall Met, which it wasn't a tattoo convention, it was just a
hang out. We didn't do any panels. We're just hanging out. Like no, that was a blast though. It was the first
fun.
convention I had done where because I stopped drinking or stopped getting drunk back in July, and it was the first one where I was like chill at it. Mm-hmm. But the year before that
was
Brian,
rough.
Tell us what you did. Okay. So I want to hear it from your perspective, and I want to tell you guys what I saw.
Okay. So where it was the last Hall Met, right? Mm-hmm. So I drank a lot. I think I brought White Claws to your
hotel.
To your hotel,
yeah.
Where you already had White Claws. So there was like 3 or 4 boxes.
As was per usual.
Yeah.
For back in the day.
It was about 4 boxes of like
the 24 packs.
Yeah, like of that were just there, and then we just started crushing them, and it got to a point. I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of it is a blur. Mm-hmm. I do remember dancing in a large room with other people that were dancing. I remember getting ushered into an elevator.
Yeah. Okay. So this is one of the funniest parts. So I was one of the people that was ushering you.
Okay. It's all very
so
vague.
Most people, when they're too drunk, you usually want them to sit and have water. Not Brian.
Not me.
Brian. This is Brian. He's just kind of looking up. His eyes are like closed, and he's just dancing.
I have to do it.
And I'm like, Brian, you should sit down. No, I can't. I can't. And I was like, all right, what are you doing, man? He's like, if I stop moving, I'll puke. If I stop. And I was like, oh, okay. So that was the ushering as us getting you into the elevator. And we got back to the hotel room where Brian came back to life for a little bit. So
Okay, so just to backtrack a little bit, I will, like, if I'm getting really fucking wasted, I will have to do like some sort of 2-step, because if I stop, then the room starts to spin.
he's in motion with the drunkenness.
Yes,
You're in
if
motion.
I'm in motion, I'm motion of the ocean type of thing. I'm like, I'm feeling it.
I like it. You go,
And then I'm like, I
have.
have to do this, and I do this intentionally because I'm like, if I feel like I'm moving but I'm not, that's when I get nauseous.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm moving and I feel my own motion, I'm like, I am in control. That's why I like to move when I'm like wasted, because I'm controlling how I feel when I'm moving. But if I stop, then the world kind of just starts to slowly turn.
Oh yeah, I've been there. I know the feeling.
And I'm like,
it's like as soon as you lay down and you're too drunk, and you're like, oh fuck.
yeah, you get the spins, dude.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, somebody told me this, and it actually worked once, because I was obliterated, but I was actually coherent enough to actually remember this thing that you can do. Is if you get completely annihilated and then you go to bed, a lot of times you get the spins.
Yeah.
However, if you lay down and you put one foot on the floor, like you're laying down and you put one foot, you ground it on your floor, so you're kind of hanging off your bed, it takes all of that away.
I wish I knew this back in the day when I would get drunk.
Yeah,
that would have saved me a lot.
I was actually coherent enough to actually do this maneuver. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm about to throw chunks. And then I was like, oh wait. And then I literally put my foot on the floor, and it was still moving, but I was able to fall asleep like that. And I was like,
You keep one foot grounded in reality, essentially.
yeah, honestly, it's almost like you're breaking the world.
So
Because everything is moving, and then you put your foot on the floor. It's kind of like the Flintstones, how they break with their feet. That's honestly how it felt. I was like, and then it just started. It came to a snail's pace, and I was like, I can
handle this.
I can handle this.
So we get back to the hotel room.
I'm sorry.
And
Yeah.
no, it was like we get back to the hotel room. I'm grounding it. I'm putting my foot back into the story. We get back to the hotel room, and we have one of those speakers, those portable speakers.
Mm-hmm.
And Brian only karaoke's, and this isn't a karaoke machine, by the way, it's just a speaker. But Brian only karaoke's Tenacious D. And so he...
Not only. I do.
Sometimes Disney music, but mostly Tenacious D.
Yeah.
But he's karaokeing Tenacious D, but he's only doing like 2 or 3 songs. And he's putting all his heart into it. He's drunk. We're all having a good time. But I want to get to one hilarious part where we're outside on the balcony. We're on like, I don't know, like the 14th floor or something. And we're just standing there. Nothing's going on. Nobody's asking him questions about this. And he just looks at me, he's like, I'm not going to jump. Like off the thing. And I was like,
Yeah.
no one said you would. And he's like, I'm just
letting
you know that I'm not going to, just in case you thought I would. And I was like, no one thought you were. And so then I get scared. I'm like, oh God, dude.
I remember that instance because I remember people not wanting me to go out on the porch or the balcony. And people were like, no, why don't you just stay in here and lay down? And then I started blurting out to everybody. I was like, I know what you're doing, and I'm not gonna jump. And everybody was like, we didn't think you were.
But now we do. And now we're a little nervous. I wish you could see your face when you tell me these things. Like, okay, so the other night, this is a little bit of a sidestep, but I just, like, we were at emo night, emo social, at one of my favorite bars downtown, which is Sly Fox. Mm-hmm. And Brian, he's tipsy, he's like buzzed or whatever, and he just looks at me and he's like, I love you. And I'm like, I love you too, man. He's like, I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, I'm a very lovey-dovey drunk. I don't know, like, cause I just feel like warmth.
Yeah, you looked warm. Your face is beet red.
I feel warmth, and then I'm hanging out with everybody. I'm like, everybody's having a good time, and I just see life through rose-tinted glasses when I'm drunk.
Yeah.
So I'm like, everybody's having a good time, even if they're not. So I'm like, they're just all full of love, and I love you. You love me. We love each other. That's why I always want to kiss you right on the cheek.
Yes, he does.
I like
Every time my friends get drunk, they end up kissing me at some point. Like,
yeah, it's awesome.
All my dude friends, just Cody, you. Like it's like I'm just Matsy. Like I'm like, I have very kissable cheeks. I guess just red cheeks,
they're nice
rosy cheeks.
Yeah.
But it's funny. So now we're talking like, going back to Hall Met. I had this is one of the weirdest situations I've had. So there's this dude, I won't name names. So Brian's having the time of his life. He wakes up the next day at the worst hangover, but I wasn't having the time of my life. So there's this guy I just met, and when I play pranks on people, they're low consequence pranks. They're goofy, they're fun. I like to untie people's shoes. I don't know why. I don't know where it started from. It's a minor inconvenience. It's funny. And I'm like, haha, I got you. I was doing it to this guy, and he kept trying to get me back. I'm also the master of not being able to get back at.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
I'm good. Brian knows.
I know.
Brian's like, I don't even try to get him back anymore. You just can't.
No, because you'll just continue to do it. And I don't have the heart to like prank. He has the discipline. The discipline he shows for pranking people is unmatched. And I just don't have it in me. So I'll do a couple of things, and then I'm like, I don't care.
I don't want to do this.
I don't want to do this. So like, it's not in my character to do anything like that. So you'll continue to do it to me, and I'm like, fine. If that's what if that's what you want to do, then I guess I have to.
All I think about when
conform.
I'm talking to people is like, can I untie the shoes? And how can I make whatever they're saying right now into a dad joke? That's literally what's going through my brain.
Yeah.
And so that's me. So anyways, I'm doing that with this guy. Me not realizing that like, I didn't know until later that this guy pranks really hard. So it was really getting under his skin that not only am I fucking with him and he can't get me back, but I'm drunk, so I'm antagonizing it and making fun of him. I'm like, you'll never get me back. I'll be like, you're such a bitch. And I just kept saying that because I was like, to me, I thought we were having innocent fun. Well, anyways, we get back to the hotel room, and I'm just chilling, hanging out, kind of winding down. It's late. And he's like, I'm going to pee in your shoes. And I'm like, no, you won't. And he's like, yeah, I will. So he takes one of my shoes into the bathroom, and I'm like, I'm not falling for this. Because in my mind, that's fucking crazy. Like,
yeah, like we're all in our 30s
we're
or
all
whatever.
adults. Like, you didn't just go in the bathroom when there's like 15 people in here, pull your dick out, stick it in my shoe, and piss in it.
Yeah.
You didn't do that because that's absurd. He comes back, and he's like, I did it. And I'm like, I don't believe you. And so he takes my other shoe, and I'm thinking like, all right, he's not doing this. He goes in there. I trap him in the shower. I turn the water on because I'm like, he's really trying to be in my fucking shoe right now. And then Carlos is like, Carlos, the trooper, smells the shoe.
He didn't even. Keep in mind, Carlos is one of our friends that you don't have to encourage him to do anything.
He'll just do it.
Just be like, Carlos, can you do this?
Can
And
you
he'll be
smell
like,
the shoe allegedly filled with piss?
and he's like, absolutely.
There's pee in there. And so I get pissed.
Literally.
At first I was like, oh, cool. No, I was like, no, I'm actually mad. They're limited edition vans they don't make anymore. Mm-hmm. So and then it sucked too, because then I woke up and I had a 2-day long hangover. I'm staying at the host hotel for the convention, so I can't replace my shoes. So my lovely girlfriend had to go find somewhere that sold, and I was like, sold shoes, and she could only find flip-flops. So I wore Quicksilver flip-flops for the weekend, and I had a 2-day long hangover, and I was pissed about my shoes. And of course, there's video and pictures of it. So even if I tried to forget about it, I couldn't, because every group chat and every friend was like, "Oh my god!" Like,
did this actually happen to you?
People are calling me, and I'm like,
yes.
My shoes got pissed in. What'd you do? I untied his shoes. My favorite part is Brian's reaction.
So keep in mind, he unties my shoes almost on a daily basis. And some of you might say, well, why don't you double knot your shoes? It's because
Brian's stubborn. That's why.
No, because I'm not going to change how I live my life in fear of you untying my shoes.
I love that the foundation of your life rests on whether your shoes are double knotted or not. You're like, I won't change
I'm not
the
gonna do it.
foundation of my life and double knot my shoes. It's an extra 0.3.
But I don't do it. I don't do it. I don't care how small of how little time it takes to me
you realize
for me to double knot.
changed the foundation of your life regardless.
You didn't, because I'm living my life.
And then you had to bend down every time in public most
and
of the time.
I'm okay with
and
that.
Retie
and
your
I'm like,
shoes,
yep, that's
and then
JP.
Stand up with what little pride you have left with that, and then go, I'm not double knotting my shoes. And I'm
not gonna do it.
All right.
I'm not gonna do it, because then what happens? I double knot my shoes. I go home, and then I have to
untie your shoes.
Yeah, when it's single knotted, all I got to do is whoop,
retie
and then that's it.
Okay, so you know what? It's beautiful. It's a win-win. Your pride is a win for me in this situation. Look at his face. His face. I literally watched him go.
But it's that, like, I'd have to essentially relearn
How to tie your shoes.
No, not how to tie my shoes, but when you're trying to not bite your fingernails, or you're trying to get rid of a habit, or you're trying to relearn something else, and it takes you however many tries to
get that habit,
for it to become part of your daily routine. I have to do that.
So for
me to remember to double knot my shoes every single. I was on the Vans website the other day when I was getting new shoes, and guess what was on there? Fucking Velcro Vans, and I immediately thought of you. Immediately, I was like, how fucking crazy would it be if I showed up at work with just Velcro Vans like a 3-year-old?
So, moral of the story. I clearly I've traumatized Brian. So he was a little satisfied when he heard that somebody pissed in my shoe.
So somebody pissed in JP's shoe. And I'm not condoning that behavior at all. However, if it was gonna happen to somebody, 90% of me was just like, that's
not cool.
That's
man.
not cool. That's taking it way too far to piss in somebody's shoes. But then that tiny little 10% of me, I was like, good.
Fuck JP
Fuck
right
him.
now. JP with his shoelace untying punk ass. And what I love is you probably knew, you're like, it's not gonna change him whatsoever.
It's not. If anything, it might make him
might untie
more
way
reckless.
more shoes.
Yeah.
Well,
So at that point, and you know what? Me double knotting my shoes is not gonna stop you either.
What did I know? What did I do? So Rob, he double knotted his shoes, but he's wearing a hoodie, so I just went up and pulled his drawstring.
Yeah.
I adapt.
That's the other thing is even if I double knot my shoes, so I'm already adding an extra step to my life. Mm-hmm. You're still gonna do something else.
It's an extra step.
It is an extra step, man.
Jesus Christ.
I have to do a whole new thing on the off chance that you fucking untie my shoes.
People who double knot their shoes are going to be like, wow, I didn't realize how hard my life was that I do this.
Yeah, if you double knot your shoes and you don't have somebody yanking at them every other day, the fuck is wrong with you?
You're double nine then for no reason.
For no reason.
You have no threat. JP's not around you.
Yeah, there was no threat. Nobody's doing that to you. So I don't understand. And I never, 30 years of my life, I never had to go with this fear. 30 whole years.
And
now here we are.
He still chooses to be around me all the time.
Yeah, because you're cool, man. I love you.
It's the backwards ass. So anyways, that's that convention. Dancing Brian, shoe pee, Brian traumatized by his shoelaces.
What we're trying to say is conventions are cool, especially
They're
especially tattoo conventions, which is our main topic for today.
So let's get into that. So something that we get asked a lot, so we usually get asked for advice, with how-tos, usually it's like with tattooing, designing, social media and stuff like that. But something I think that's really important for us to talk about is how important it is to go to conventions. Mm-hmm. So everybody thinks about social media and social networking, but in-person networking is incredibly important. And going to conventions is very, it helps with careers. So something that we wanted to talk about was how helpful going to conventions has been for us and Brian's shoelaces.
Yeah, they're great. And
he's like, you really threw me off with the shoelace thing. I'm traumatized.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. But no, tattoo conventions are an amazing place to get your voice heard by a lot of fellow artists. So when I think my first tattoo convention, since I'm still fairly new at this whole thing, I've only been doing this for less than 3 years now. And my very first convention was actually Anime Inc. 3 years ago now, or 2.5 years ago, something like that.
I think it was 2.5 years ago I was there. I came by and said, yeah, okay, yeah.
I was at my first shop at the time, before I went to SatFam. But I was there, and I was actually chilling with my buddy Wade Whitman. Shout out to Wade. You're a cool dude.
The scholar.
The scholar. It's a great way to see the artists that you've, kind of wanted to emulate, or you've looked up to, or looked up, to their art or whatever, and just kind of put a face to the name and your art. So networking is the name of the game. A lot of people try to go to conventions to make a lot of money, and you can't go to a convention with the expectation that you're going to make a lot of money, especially if you're just starting out. The main purpose of you going to these conventions is to network and find other like-minded artists. That should be your main goal. And that's how I've met, I think I met Cody. I met Cody.
Cody, Dan, Matsy.
I met them all for the first time at conventions.
Yeah, and so they're some of our closest friends. So when I tell folks how important conventions are, when I first met that, some of my core friends are some of my best friends now, and they live in different states, but Dan McWilliams, Cody Ellis, Matsy, don't know his last name, but Matsy Ireland.
His last name is Guinness, dude.
No, it isn't. Guinness Shoalwater.
No, wait, it's Machu Larkin.
Matsy Larkin. How the fuck did I know I've seen that. But okay. Anyways, but
Matthew.
When
they don't pronounce their H's.
When
we fucking weirdo.
Churchy. Tree churchy. I hope he watches this. But when I met them, it was crazy. We all knew about each other from Instagram and stuff. We've all seen each other. But that weekend, when I first hung out with them, it was crazy to think that just 24, 48 hours ago, we weren't best friends. And then all of a sudden, here we are hanging out like we've been best friends since high school. So it is important to get yourself out there. Go meet people. Maybe use one of the convention days as a day off, or maybe do smaller tattoos so that you have time to hang out and mingle. I always tell folks to make a card, make a sticker, go hand them out, go, just hang out 95% of the artists that you go, regardless of how big they are, whatever, how popular they are, they're usually pretty cool. Like, I know it can be really intimidating to come up to any of us. I want to say, like, right now, come talk to us, dude. Like, Brian and I are super friendly. We'll talk to anybody. Like,
we're open
don't be
books.
nervous. Or be nervous, but get over it and come talk to us. Like,
Also be respectful, though. Like, if we're in the middle of a tattoo and people are, like, clamoring over us, like,
maybe that's not the time.
that might not be the time. And I'm just speaking from personal preference. If people are trying to, if I'm like super zoned in on a tattoo and people are asking me questions, I'm like, I appreciate you asking me questions, but just give me let me get to a stopping point or something like that. So I feel like you need to kind of gauge that.
Yeah. Like, read the room. For the most part, for conventions, I try to take a day where I'm not tattooing so I can hang out and talk to folks.
Yeah.
Answer questions, kind of just be present and stuff like that. But yeah, use conventions as like a good, or actually I forgot, let me interrupt myself to say this part too. If you're trying to get sponsorships, most of the sponsors I know, it's not just shoot them a DM or an email.
Shut the fuck up, dude. We're not talking about that.
Go in person. Like most of the sponsors I met them in person. Like I was at a convention, they were there, we became friendly, and most of the time, not all the sponsors, but most of the time the sponsors, like the owners or the important people who work for those brands are there at the booths that you can meet. You go up and talk to them. So the main thing is just be friendly, be yourself, sell yourself, but don't oversell yourself because that can also push people away. Yeah, I've met so many people. I love meeting people. I'm sorry if I've met you like 3 times and I'm really bad with faces. So
He's really bad. He's introduced himself to multiple people
like 4 or 5 times.
4 or 5 times, and they always look at him like, JP, we've had this exact conversation before. And then
they almost
something.
repeat what I'm about to say next. We're like, yeah, and then you're gonna tell me, but you're nice every time I meet you, and I'm like, thank you so much, dude. But yeah, do that. Meet people, be friendly, get yourself out there. And it helps build your brand up a lot too. And yeah, but if you stay nervous and you kind of stay off into your corner, I'll never get to know who you are.
Yeah.
So when you go to conventions, kind of take advantage of the moment and go out, meet people, make friends, network, yeah.
Do what you got to do.
Do what you got to do and make memories. Have fun, dude. We have a blast.
Yeah. Every time we go to a convention, we always kind of have like a small group together, and then we kind of just go off and do whatever. But it's honestly the best way to network, get your voice heard, get your face seen, and stuff like that. And yeah, like yes to everything you just said. Like that's honestly the best way to do it. And it's unfortunately in this industry, as with every other industry, it's not always about what you know, it's about who you know sometimes. And
absolutely.
As terrible and odd that sounds sometimes, it is true, because there are plenty of things that I have like instances where these certain scenarios have benefited me in a way where now I'm starting to work with other people because of who I knew, not because of what I knew. And yes, your talent can take you even further, but like starting out, you can develop those relationships and it would be easier for you to get into, certain things, or like, meet new people or grab a sponsorship or whatever, just because of, the relationships that you build from the conversations that you have with these new people and stuff like that.
I think a lot of people think that opportunities happen like when you get really good. And I'm like, opportunities happen, that's part of it. It can be part of it, but it also happens with how you present yourself. Like I've learned that I really like hanging out with good people.
Mm-hmm.
Your art's cool, but I hang out with people that are just starting out, that still have a lot to work on. I hang out with people who are really incredible and kind of everyone in between.
Mm-hmm.
But I hang out with people because I think they're awesome, not because of who they are in the tattoo world or how good they are in the tattoo world or anything like that. That's cool, and that may be how we meet, but I've got friends kind of all over the place that they're just cool people to hang out with. But I think that really the whole summit, that's what it is. Go meet people. Go to these conventions, even if you're nervous. If you're not busy, then go, okay, cool, be positive about it, and use that opportunity to go meet people and make yourself known. Or if you need the tattoo, I mean, you can ask me. I'll shout you out on Instagram. Like I've done it numerous times for folks. But yeah, stay positive. And if you're not tattooing, you want to be, go and meet people, hang out, make friends and stuff like that. Make the most of that. See it as an opportunity as much as you can, to go do stuff. There's been times where I wasn't busy tattooing early on in my career at conventions, and rather than be bummed about it, I was like, well, fuck it. I'll just walk around and I'll meet people. And then I ended up being glad that I didn't tattoo, because I've met people that I wouldn't have been able to meet had I been tattooing.
Yeah,
so
I mean, hell,
create opportunities.
We did it that one year at Anime Inc. where I think we tattooed once, or I didn't tattoo at all. One of those, was it Miami?
No, we tattooed in Miami. I tattooed twice. I did the collab with you, and then I did the Pochita.
Okay, yeah, there was one instance where I just went to just drink.
It was the
and
two, yeah.
walk around.
It was that Virginia one before that.
Yeah,
and we pretty much, I was like, if you hear burping and it smells like White Claw, it's me and Brian, like walking around, and we just hung out with everybody. It was a fucking blast, dude.
We made it a point to just go walking, throughout the aisles and just like meet some of the lesser known artists, just to, see what they're working on. And it means a lot to them. And I'm like, I'm in the same position as you are. You know what I mean? Like we have a higher following. That's literally the only difference, and I like it's just because we have a higher following, that doesn't mean we're fucking like gods. You know what I mean? Like, and there are people that think of us like that. And I'm like, that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, people don't know, but Brian's just a bozo loving jabroni like anybody else. Look at that face. Such a bozo loving jabroni face.
I'm trying to have like a good conversation, man.
A good conversation. He sings that I'm trying to have a good conversation. But yeah, there you go. Come hang out with us.
Yeah.
Come say hey.
And then we'll, like, if you're cool, if our personalities mesh, then
Brian might kiss your cheek.
I might kiss your cheek, and we can hang out.
From
just not in Miami, because I fucking hate that place. I'm sorry.
The highs and lows. It was like the greatest of highs, the lowest of lows.
If you don't know what we're talking about, we went to Anime Inc. in Miami, and
this time last year almost. It's been almost a full year. Jesus Christ, I'm fucking flying.
Yeah, it was almost to the year, and we were doing a collab on a homie of ours, and we ended up winning Best of Day. And we didn't expect it at all. As a matter of fact, we didn't even enter him in the competition at the right time because he was just hanging out by our booth, and everybody was just like, they're judging already. And I was like, what? And then
I was at the mini bar on the complete other side of the convention room.
Yeah, I wasn't even paying attention. And we ran to the stage where they were holding competitions. The first round had already been finished. And I told our client, I was like, get on the stage. Just walk up casually, just walk up on the stage.
I like that you're owning up to that we just threw somebody in there.
Yeah, well, because we had every intention of putting him up there, but we lost track of time. That's really what it comes down to. And I was just like, just go up on stage, please. Just go up on stage. And then he just gets up on stage and
then he wins.
And so they were judging everything. And Kim, Buddy Machine, comes up to us and she was just like, what you did was wrong.
I wasn't here for this, so I don't know.
Oh, she was talking to me then.
I don't even know this.
So Kim came up to me and she was like, what you did was wrong. You shouldn't have done that. However, it was gonna win regardless, even if it was there for the first round. And I was just like, okay.
Meanwhile,
like,
I'm at the mini bar having no idea that this is going on because I've never entered a competition. I've always been too afraid to enter competitions because my friends are incredible. Like Matsy was entering, so many good, Russell was entering. And I was like, oh, I can't compete with those guys. I win. And so when I heard JP Tron Walker on the intercom or whatever, and I was like, no way. Like,
I was laughing my tits off next to Matsy because Matsy saw the bullshit that we just pulled, and he was just like, you fuckers just put him on stage during the second round.
Not you fuckers. I wasn't there. It was you.
Yeah, but it was our tattoo, so you get half of the blame.
Not do this.
And he was looking at us. I'm laughing my tits off, and Matsy was just like, "It's a great tattoo, but like, fuck, man." And I was just like, and that's when Kim was just like, it wasn't. She didn't say it was gonna win, but she was like, it was gonna get past the first round, so that's why we gave it to you. And I was like, okay, well, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Like we were literally just talking at the booth. We didn't know the competition had already started because they didn't. I don't think they announced it. They just announced a time that it was going to start, but they didn't make an announcement saying, "Hey, last call for."
Just so you guys know, this is my first time hearing any of this shit. Like, I just went up there and people were like, where are you? You gotta go. And I was like, okay. And I just walked up there and just stupid smile on my face, and I'm like, wait, what? Like, sweet.
So anyway, long story short, we ended up.
That was
winning.
great. That was a great.
It was
time.
awesome, and
there Brian cheated.
We cheated first of all. Yep.
I will admit I am a cheater by proxy.
All right, then I'll take all the trophies.
No, not by proxy. That doesn't work. What is it?
Yeah, cheater by proxy.
Oh, okay. But I was unaware.
Like you're a cheater by association.
I was a cheater by association.
Yeah.
But I didn't make the choice. Anyways, we were feeling good.
We were feeling good because there was a lot of stiff competition, and like you said, like there were so many incredible artists that put their pieces up there. And we wanted to celebrate that day. So we were gathering up all of our friends, me, JP, Ish, Matsy,
so many people.
Cody, we all
like,
wanted.
I think it was like 30 people that we were.
It was like an entourage of people that we wanted to go. And we told everybody, we were like, JP and I want an awesome like dive bar or a local pub.
Somewhere where we can hear each other talk.
Somewhere where it has nice music, we can hear each other talk, and we're sitting at a bar and we're having a good time. That's what we want. We kept getting pushed.
So we were smart and we asked. So we have a friend who has friends who are from Miami, who lives in Miami. And do you want to know how you can identify somebody from Miami? Don't worry, they'll let you know. They'll tell you. They're so fucking proud of Miami. I'll be like, oh yeah, no, I lived here and here. And they're like, I'm from Miami, baby. 40 whatever.
It's 305.
305, baby. They're like, I'm Miami, and I'm like, I know you said that
20 times already.
Yeah, I'm very well. I don't even know your name. I just know you're from Miami.
Yeah.
So, anyways, they're very proud about this, and they're like, oh, we gotta go to what was it, Westwood or Wingwood or what?
Wynwood.
And they're like, oh yeah, no, it's cool. It's like chill. It's like artsy. And I was like, that's everything that I needed it to be. So we get to a bar. We all Uber to a bar. And they're like, oh, it closed. It closes at 9. And I was like, cool. And then like, oh no, it's cool, man. Wynwood's like right around the corner. We'll just go there. And I was like, okay, cool. But Brian looks at me. He's like, that's one.
Yeah, I'm literally counting strikes in my head. I was just like, because I had a feeling we weren't going to be doing what we wanted to do. So in my head, I was just like, we pull up to a closed bar. I was like, strike one. Because I don't have patience for this. I was just like, I just want to go to the bar and drink.
So we go around the corner and it's a fucking shit show. There's like hundreds of people on the street. It's like like the street's like closed up. There's like cop cars. It's just like, and Miami people are so shiny. I don't know why.
It's like a lot of glitter and a lot of
grease,
oil.
Everyone's all greased up. And so I was like, okay. So we get there and they're like, yeah, we're going to this place called Gramps. And my brain, I'm like, Gramps sounds like an old people bar, so I might enjoy this.
Yeah.
And we get there, there's like a fucking line out this Saturday, mind you. Or
Yes.
Saturday. And I was like, we got like 30 fucking people in our group. I was like, I'm not going there. So we were annoyed. So I'm standing on a sidewalk where people are allowed to stand, by the way. And apparently some like super oily couple was like doing like some shitty photo shoot, and there's a photographer, and the guy, like, I can't really hear him, and he's like, move, you need to move. And like he puts his fucking hand on me and starts pushing me. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I'm starting to get pissed off because I'm like, who are you? And like, we're trying to take a photo here. And I was like, I don't give a shit what you're doing. You don't just touch people, dude. Like, I don't know who the fuck you are. And then like the photographer starts like getting defensive, and I'm like, oh my God, I gotta get out of here, dude. I was like, there was so loud, there's so many people, and I was like, we gotta go. So we leave. Brian was already gone.
I'm already
Brian's
gone.
already.
I left.
Brian was like
I saw like the amount of headache everything was. Like, our group of people it was literally everyone was just like, oh, well, I don't, maybe this, and I was like, oh my God, I don't want this energy.
Yeah, someone was like, oh, there's like a little bar. And
I'm like, nope.
I was like, nah, it's
nope,
we're
too late. We're done.
Oh, you know what? I completely forgot. We left out one of the bars we went to. There was an after party. Remember that?
Yes.
There was, so anyways, so there was actually strike two instead of strike one.
Strike one was the after
There was
party.
an after party that was
you couldn't even move in.
It was cool, but you couldn't really move in, and getting drinks was impossible. So we just were like, fuck it, we'll go do this thing. So anyways, at this point we're already 3 strikes in. And finally I was like done. I was like, fuck it, I'm leaving. I get back to the hotel, and this is probably where my frustration boiled over the most. So my girlfriend is really smart. She always buys snacks and buys White Claw for my hotel room. And for the people who occupy my hotel room. Well, not naming names, but somebody from the shop I was working at decided they deserved all my White Claw and all my snacks, and they took it to their hotel room and then fed it to a bunch of people I didn't even know. So I'm like, oh, it's in so-and-so's hotel room. So I go in there, and I'm looking at an empty box, and I'm looking at like 8 people who are all drinking my White Claws. And I was like, is there any White Claws left over? And one guy who I don't know was like, I just opened this one. You can have it. And I was like,
you can have it.
You can have it. And I went in my room, and I told my girlfriend, I was like, I'm so unbelievably angry right now. I'm just going to go to bed. And then my boy Cody Ellis, I love you, Cody. I hope you watch this. You're so cute.
Jesus Christ.
He comes in, he's like, I'm not letting it in like this, man. You're coming out with me.
I get the call as well, but I'm like, nope, I'm already about to, like, I got the call from Cody as I was like, I just got naked to get into a shower. And I was like, nope, I'm not putting my clothes back on. I'm going to get in this hot shower and I'm going to bed. And
I wish you had come out, dude.
Here's the fucked up thing. The next morning,
he hears about it.
I hear, because I knew that you and Cody went out, which is awesome. I'm glad you had a great time. I am genuinely happy for you. I really am.
I'm not jealous at all.
I'm not jealous at all.
Please tell me about your great time that you had and how it all worked out for you. Okay, I will. All right, I'll tell you about how great it was.
So they go to a place. I find out the very next day that. Okay.
Wait. Before you say this part, let me tell you what Cody said to me to rile me, to get me back into this before this
Okay,
segment.
go ahead.
So Cody comes in. I'm mad. I'm not going anywhere. Cody's like, I'm not letting it in like this. We're going out. We're having a good time. That's what's happening. I'm like, no. And he's like, no, we're going. I'm like, fine. And then the previous night, there was a bar literally right across the street from my hotel. And when I say literally across the street, I mean like 15 feet. There's
the fucking hotel right here. Okay. And then a street.
And then the bar.
And then the bar.
So
not like 2 blocks away. Literally
the
the hotel, the street, and the bar. JP and I have been begging people
for this kind of
bar. It was a bar. It was a dive bar.
And they played like emo music, like Fall Out Boy and stuff like, and Taking Back Sunday. So what was funny is I knew about this bar because I went there the first night that we were there. But I just kept thinking like, oh, we're going to go check out all these other bars. So anyways, Cody's like, this is what we're doing. And we go, like me, Cody, my girlfriend, and we go and we have a blast. And what was even cooler is then all of our friends started showing up. Matsy, Alice, Gerardo, like all of them. And I was like, all my friends are here. And we have emo music. I was like, Cody, thank you for making me come out. I am having a blast right now. Mm-hmm. And like, this is what I wanted. And we stayed out till like 3 a.m. just having a blast. And
so happy for you. I truly am.
We tried to call you, man.
I know. I know, but I was so far, like, in my head, I'm like, no, they're just going to take me to some other stupid ass fucking nightclub that I don't want to go to. So I go back. It's funny now. It's hilarious.
Then he has to hear about it. It's hilarious.
It's hilarious. I'm not pissed at all.
I haven't held on to it for a whole year.
So I go back. We go back to we meet back up at the convention the next day, and I go up to one of the people that's their Miami local who also happens to be friends with another friend of ours, and I pretty much tell him the entire story, and he was just like, why would you go to Wynwood?
I know. Found this on the other.
And I was just like, I don't know. I just trusted the people that knew where we were going. And he's like, you wanted to have a peaceful night. That you don't go to Wynwood. That's just filled with nightclubs. And I'm like, I know. I know now.
The look on both of our faces when we were like, well, you're telling
where
me
were you?
You're telling me that like I should know this. There's no way for me to have fucking known that.
Yeah, and I was just like, where were you? And he was just like, I didn't want to go out last night. And I'm like,
well, I needed you.
I needed you. It was so. The point is, conventions are really, really awesome. They're really awesome, to network and meet people. And it's truly just a wonderful experience. So you should totally do that.
Yeah. I mean, I have a blast. That's what I do. And we're doing Pop Cult.
Doing Pop Cult in a couple weeks. And then we're getting the band back together for
Anime Inc.
in October.
Yeah, it's us. So it's me, you, Cody, Dan, and then our ladies, Maddie, Courtney, and Tabs will be there. Our friend Jenny's gonna be there. Mm-hmm. So, yeah,
it's gonna be a lot of fun.
It's gonna be a blast. Come say hey to us.
But yeah, if you're thinking about doing your very first convention or any convention at all, I say go for it. You wanna
make memories like we did, and so you can have these hilarious stories to talk about.
Yeah, hilarious. No, but most of them, 99.9% of the experiences that I have with conventions are always usually positive. So I even the experience that I had in Miami, I know that if I go to Miami again, it won't be like that because I know exactly where to go. And I won't make the same mistakes because just that one instance of Miami is truly not Miami.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When we're pissed off at the city, but it's because we were ignorant at the time. But now that
And
we
now
know,
we know.
now we know, and now we can use that information to our advantage.
It's like the first couple times I went to LA, I was like, eh. And then I found the right people.
Yeah.
Dan
I'm from New
McWilliams.
York. I'm from New York City.
Wait. Dan McWilliams, my handsome friend. I just wanted to make sure that was in there.
Okay.
Dan McWilliams.
So, yeah, it's the same thing with New York. It's the same thing with New York where, like, I know it's not for everybody, but there are pockets of New York that could be for everyone. You may not like New York City, but you might like
The
these
boroughs.
2 blocks. New York City is the boroughs.
I'm
You'll
just
never
being-
know.
I'm just being chaos now.
Oh, okay.
But
can
I
tell.
agree with you. Yeah, when I've been in New York, like there's certain sections I'm like, I like this part a lot,
right
like,
here.
This
Yeah.
section. That's how Los Angeles is too. I'm like, I like this group of friends and I like these parts a lot. You get the touristy shit out of the way first, and
Yeah,
you're like,
of
all right,
course.
I did the touristy stuff. Now you kind of do the
Yeah,
the
same
fun-
thing with
the fun
Miami.
work.
We just happened to see the part that, sucked for us.
not
So,
for everybody.
Not for everyone, clearly, because there was fucking millions of people on that one street.
and everyone was really shiny.
But that's what they want.
They reflected every light source there was.
It was truly, it was like,
Maybe I need to lotion more. Maybe it's because I'm dry. Maybe that's the problem.
I don't know.
I
Anyway,
love that was my takeaway. I was just like,
But,
everyone's really well
yeah,
lotioned.
go to conventions and then make awesome memories and
Have funny stories.
have funny stories.
Be in Brian's shoes.
Don't be in my shoes because I'm not going to untie your shoes like a fucking jabroni.
He's even taking my words, jabroni. He didn't,
He
fun
didn't,
enough,
that's not
he
even
didn't
his word, dude.
He didn't even know what jabroni was
Shut
until I showed it to him. Did you believe this?
Shut
Can you believe
up.
this? When I
Shut
first
up.
met him,
Shut up.
he just watched The Office. He didn't
Shut
even watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and then I showed it to him. Watch it. He can't
That
even
is a
handle it.
bold fucking face lie,
Oh,
and you
is
know
it?
it. Yeah.
Is it, Brian?
Yes.
Okay. That's it. It's just okay, fine.
Yeah. Good. That should be the only answer
I
to
don't
that.
feel like defending myself because I know
You
that
need
I
to.
can't convince you otherwise. So I'm not even going to try.
Okay. So we're ending this episode before I get really upset. Thank you guys for coming out, seeing us. We really appreciate it. We appreciate every single one of you. We love every single one of you. My name is BeeRye Tattoos on Instagram. This stuff over here, that's JP Tronwalker. You could also find him on Instagram, and we are the Baka Boys. You can find us Baka Boys Official on Instagram.
Face is so warm right now.
Thank you very much, and we will see you later. Bye. I'm actually not pissed.
I'm so happy that I'm going to be in there.